Hello and welcome to the Lorna Marie Fitness Podcast, the show where we talk all things fitness, health, mindset and lifestyle to help you become fitter, healthier and happier. I help busy people who lack time, motivation and self-belief to look and feel great again. If you want to work with me, head over to lornamariefitness.co.uk, but for now, enjoy this episode. I am coming at you from the hotel room at the airport, so I really hope the Wi-Fi is strong enough. So I've just come back from the hotel gym and from Costa. I've got my Costa coffee here. I tried doing Peloton. It was interesting. I did get a bit bored and then my headphones cut out, to be honest, so it didn't really go down very well. Ended up doing my own kind of thing. Anyway, here we are doing the Q&A and we've got some wicked questions as always. Now, if you are watching this as opposed to listening to it, I can't get the lighting right. There's this lighting shining through the curtains behind me. It is just making my hair look so static, but you know, we move forward with imperfect action, everybody. It's all about the showing up, you know. So, here we go. Oh, and yeah, so you might be wondering where I'm going. Well, you might not, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And we are off to Skiathos in Greece for my mum, Lynn the Legend. It is her 60th, and this is what she wanted to do. She wanted to go to Greece to celebrate in style. So she is 60 tomorrow, and they're on their way up to the airport now. But me and Will said it'd be really nice just to get there, know we're sorted, and then we can chill. We did a bit of work yesterday, and then if anyone's been to Birmingham Airport, there's a place called Resort World next door. I don't know, this might be useful if you're ever coming, and there's loads of restaurants in there and loads of bars. So we went there and we went to, can you guess where we went? Can you guess? If you know me and Will, take us anywhere, but you can't take the Pizza Express out of us. So we went to Pizza Express last night. It was great. We came back here and watched some, The Voice. It's a really relaxing evening. So it's been nice and a relaxing start to the day. So here we are. This is where we are right now. And it's time to do the Q&A. I am going to begin from the top of the questions and work my way down in that order, team. So question number 1 is, I'm really struggling with stiffness all over when I exercise regularly, permanently in pain of some kind, and it affects my sleep. I tend to do the 6:30 class and I'm wondering if it's because I never do any stretching at the end. Could I just be unfit and inflexible too? And this could actually be a number of things. If you're finding that this stiffness is just not going away, it could potentially be a sign of overtraining. And that can happen to a lot of people at, different amounts of exercise, depending on what else is going on in your life, what else you're doing outside your formal workouts. So with overtraining syndrome, you can get niggles or stiffness or soreness that just does not go away. You can also really, really struggle with your sleep. And it's essentially your body not being able to or have enough time or resource to repair itself properly. So it could potentially be a sign of overtraining, potentially. In which case it's really important just to take a bit of rest. So you might just want a few days of rest until this soreness goes away, and then when you come back to working out, make sure that throughout your week you've got a really even split between strength, cardio, holistic workouts, that you are hydrating yourself properly. Maybe you could even include some electrolytes in your drink, see if that makes any difference in your water. Make sure you're sipping throughout the day. That's really going to help your muscles. Make sure you're having enough protein. It might be a case of actually having a look at your meals and be thinking, okay, what did I have here? So going back to that, just going back to the basics, really. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Will, can you hear me? Okay, that's good. That is good. So it really is a case of doing that. And post-workout, it doesn't matter if you stretch immediately or not for muscle soreness. So you just want to make sure that you're getting enough flexibility, mobility work throughout the week. If that means that the only time you ever do it is after a workout, because you're already in your kit and you're there, great. But it doesn't have to be immediately after your workout. Research has said and proven that the whole cool down stretch post-workout doesn't do anything to alleviate muscle soreness. It's just a case of if it feels good in your body. But it is important to incorporate some flexibility and mobility into your week, wherever that is. And really the best thing to do it is best way to do it is throughout the week. So make sure you are doing that. If it gets to the point where it's really affecting your sleep, really take a look at your week. What you're drinking, what you're eating, what does your training schedule look like, what does your stress look like, and what are you doing outside of your formal workouts as well? Are you doing a lot of steps? Are you doing any running training? What are you doing outside of classes, if you like? So have a look at that. And then aside from that, if it is something that really isn't going away, you've taken some days rest, you've taken on all the advice, definitely go and see your GP. Sometimes it can be things like fibromyalgia. How do you say it? I can't pronounce it. You're gonna have to bear with me. Fibromyalgia. I know exactly what it is, but I can't spell it properly. And it is it's like a widespread musculoskeletal pain all around your body that is also paired with fatigue, and it's just that achiness and that stiffness that will not go away. So it might be best to seek some advice about that from a medical professional. But that would be the best thing to do. And make sure you get enough sleep as well, because sleep is actually where your body repairs itself. So that could be a sign. I know you said you're struggling with your sleep, but just really focus on getting that wind down routine. And it might be a case of, right, I'm going to try things one thing at a time. This week, I am going to go for the sleep. I'm going to look at my sleep. The week after, I am going to really, really focus on upping my protein and obviously keep the sleep going. And the week after, I'm going to really, strip down my schedule, my workout schedule, and have a look at everything. Other things, it can be, perimenopause. That can be like joint aches. It depends what you're dealing with here. But yeah, that's the main kind of thing, really. Okay, next. I have a wrist tendon problem, which means I have to adapt activities to avoid straining the tendons. I'm struggling to adapt the downward facing dog when a lot of body weight pushes down through my wrist. I've tried putting my weight on my fist, but that didn't really help. Any suggestions? Linked to the same problem, I don't wear a Fitbit or watch or bracelet, as these rub on the tendon. I use my phone as a step counter, but it's only accurate if I remember to carry it. Is there a reliable pedometer that's not wrist worn? Okay, so the first thing, if you are struggling with downward facing dog, which a lot of people do, a lot of people who have, say, arthritis in their wrists, they really struggle with that. The purpose of a downward facing dog one of the main purposes, is to lengthen the spine. So what you could do here is you could do a dolphin pose, which is exactly the same thing, but it is on the forearms. Or you could do a child's pose, and that is where you shift your weight back onto your heels. So you're on your knees, you shift your weight back onto your heels, and your arms are overhead, stretched out long. And that can also really work to lengthen the spine. So you could do those two instead. So when I'm doing a downward dog in, say, Yogascape or yoga, you could go into a child's pose, or you could go into a dolphin. The second question about wearing a Fitbit or watch as a bracelet, you don't have to. You can get clip-on pedometers that you put on like the top of your trousers, and you can also get ankle-worn ones. So I don't know if anyone's got any suggestions of ones they have, pop it in the comments. But if not, get yourself on Amazon and just type in pedometer and you get one of those, and you don't have to think about it if it's like on your trousers all the time, or even on your ankle. So that's what I would recommend for that one. How important is it to have a collagen supplement? My socials are flooded with adverts. Hair, joints, skin, nails aren't as good as they used to be, but I am 47, so it's not. It's not. So there is upcoming research, but there's nothing conclusive. It's just, as you said, your socials are flooded with adverts. It's a big marketing thing. It's a huge marketing thing and a huge trend, if you like, at the moment. So as we get older, yes, our collagen, so our body produces this itself, and it is for, like your skin, your nails, and your joints as well, and it's really good for those. So as we get older, we do find that our hair can thin, our skin can sag, if you like. It doesn't look as plump or as lively, and this in part is due to having our body produce less collagen. But that doesn't mean that we need to be supplementing it with collagen, because it potentially doesn't even work like that, like at all. So if you are concerned about your hair, skin and nails, it's all lifestyle things, really. You need to be making sure you're drinking enough water, minimizing things like alcohol, and making sure you're wearing a lot of sun cream to really protect your skin. And then if you are really concerned about your skin, your hair, your nails. Make sure you're having enough protein, because that is really, really important. You know that your hair and your nails are made of this stuff. So make sure you're having enough protein, and also enough vitamin C, which is used in the production of collagen as well. And then aside from that, things like biotin, and also omega-3s. So having your omega-3s for nice, healthy looking skin. But that's what I would say, and that is what I would recommend. Collagen supplements have not really been proven to work. At the moment, like I said, the research is still umming and ahhing, let's say. But what is good for your hair, your skin, your nails and your joints is you making sure that you're looking after yourself in your lifestyle. Water, enough sleep, enough protein, and then having things like omega-3s and your oily fishes, or you can potentially take that in a supplement. It's better if it's coming out of your food as opposed to a supplement. So food first. Just have a look at your diet. You can be avoiding things like your inflammatory foods, so making sure you're eating inflammatory foods, things like your berries, oats, and again avoiding things like, or minimizing, let's say, minimizing things like a lot of caffeine and a lot of alcohol to help there. Is it wrong not to have a rest day? Yes. The reason I hesitated so much is because it depends what you mean by a rest day. Your body needs rest. If you were serious about getting long-term results, like you want to be fitter, you want to be healthier, you want to see results from your workouts, it's vital to have a rest day. It's obligatory. It's so important to have a rest day. If you don't rest, your body will not repair itself. So let me just grab a piece of paper. Okay, I've got a piece of paper here. When we work out, it's a stress on your body. So it creates little tears like this piece of paper. My room card piece of paper. There we go. There's a tear in the body. Overnight, and with adequate protein and water, your body repairs that and it actually gets stronger. Maybe paper wasn't the best example. Okay, if I fold that over, then that's now stronger, right? If I don't get adequate rest, I am tearing on the tear, on the tear, on the tear, on the tear, and I just keep tearing and tearing until the point where that is actually, you can see that's a weak piece of paper now. So one, you don't get to see the benefits of the workout. You don't actually get to, like the fold of paper, you don't get to get stronger. You can also really, really start to experience different injuries and niggles in your body because, again, your body has not had a chance to repair. You can dip into overtraining, you probably will be if you're never having a rest day. So that means that you'll be struggling with your sleep, you'll have stiffness that just doesn't seem to go away, you'll be irritable. Another thing to consider here as well is your hormones. So with overtraining, our hormones can get completely out of whack, and a lot of that can be because of the production of cortisol, which is your stress hormone. So working out is a stress on the body. It's a stressor, and it's not always a bad thing. Like, a bit of stress is a good thing, right? It gets us stronger. But if you have cortisol on cortisol on cortisol on cortisol, your body ends up being in a bit of a state of, fight, flight. It's in a state of chronic stress in a way. Which one obviously isn't great for your stress levels, it's not good for your hormones, it's not good for your body, and it's not good for your mind. So there's so many things to be considering here with not having a rest day. Now, the reason I hesitated so much was because a rest day doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to lie down and put my feet up all day. Ideally, in a rest day, you would give yourself, obviously, rest, but what you would be doing is just something really gentle, like a stretch or like a gentle short yoga, or you just go on like a gentle walk, like a short walk, just to encourage a little bit of blood flow, and that will help your muscles repair themselves as well. And I'm not saying go on a two-hour walk. That's not a rest day, that's a workout. I'm not saying go on a hike, that is not a rest day. So it is really just about doing something really gentle and really nice and easy for your body. Some people like to, put their feet up all day. You can do that. I just do think that some real gentle, light movement can help your body repair itself. So you need to be having minimum 1 to 2 rest days a week, absolute minimum. So is it wrong to have a rest day in that context? Not to have a rest day, sorry. Yeah, it is. In that context, it is wrong to not have a rest day. Okay, 70-30 food. Is there any further detail on this, please? I could do with some guidelines, recipes, meal ideas, breakfast, lunch. Is it 70-30 per meal, per day, per week? If I have one glass of wine every day, what would that ratio be? Or a glass of wine and dessert every day? Are snacks allowed? I've certainly tried this week, but I've had my usual family food in the house. I probably need to meal plan, buy different food. I like a takeaway to eat a weekend and a glass of wine or two at the weekend. However, I'd like to lose a bit of weight. My weight and fat are on my bottom, so I appreciate I need to make changes. Okay, so firstly I would say this 70-30, it's not like a, right, 70% look at a meal and calculate 70%, okay, how much of it is nourishing, and 30% how much of my meal isn't. It's a general way of life, it's a lifestyle. 70% of the time you're having foods that are really nourishing and nutrient dense, and 30% of the time you're having foods that are less nourishing and less nutrient dense. So if you are on the 6-week course, you will have a booklet, and inside that booklet there are foods to eat more of and foods to eat less of. So the 70% of the time you want those foods to eat more of. We've also got some meal plan ideas in there and some recipes in our nutrition area. So definitely check out the nutrition area and watch the nutrition guide video, because that will tell you how to break down, if you're going to make a meal plan, that'll tell you how to break it all down. So that is where I would start with that. But like I said, this is a general lifestyle thing. So 70% of the time, foods are nourishing. There'll be things like your greens, there'll be things like your salad, your veggies, your lean proteins, your fibrous carbohydrates, things like your potatoes, your whole grains, etc. Things that are made, that come out of the ground. The 30% of the time are things that, you know, come out of a factory. They've been more highly processed. For example, there might be things like your cupcakes, your cookies, your pizza, your ice cream, your dessert, that kind of thing. That's the 30% of the time. And the reason we say 70-30 is because that's realistic for a healthy, balanced lifestyle. And it's realistic for something that you can continue with once you get to your maintenance weight, so you finish losing weight, and something that you can continue with. The only thing that we need to manipulate is portion sizes. So really what you want to be doing is writing down what you have in a week and looking at it. Right, where are the nutrient dense things? For example, what do you have for breakfast? What's nutrient dense in your breakfast? Are you starting the day with like some porridge made with milk and sprinkle of nuts and seeds or whatever? Great, really nourishing breakfast, fantastic. Mid-morning snack, what are you having? Oh, a Kit Kat. Okay, that's in the 30%. You know, it's not nourishing, is it really? It's made in a factory, right? Lunch, what are we having? Oh, having a tuna wrap. Great, brilliant, cool. Dinner, what are we having? Homemade spaghetti bolognese. Lovely, great. Dessert, what are we having? Oh, I'm having a yogurt. Great, perfect. Or I'm having, I don't know, a few biscuits. Right, in the 30%. You know, let's think about this. We all know what we need to be eating more of, right? And if you're not sure, have a look in that booklet and see things to eat more of, things to eat less of. It's just generally things that are really highly processed. You know, your biscuits, your chocolate, your sweets, I'm trying to think now, desserts, cupcakes, all that kind of thing, the wine, the pizza, as I said. That comes into the 30%. It's part of a balanced lifestyle. But you don't need to, rather than thinking about it every meal or every day, I'd be thinking about it over the course of a week. So if you like to have a takeaway at the weekend, well, yeah, that comes into the 30. But the one thing that I would do is you need to get consistency with your diet. So you need to be looking at your diet and getting some consistency in there. Most people tend to eat the same meals throughout the week, roughly, or they eat like, you know, they have a selection of a few different ones. So have a look at your lunch. Generally, people tend to have a really similar lunch, right? Maybe like 2 or 3 different lunches. Will, would you say that you do that?
1.
Will has the same lunch every day. And evening meals. So me and Will, we probably have, realistically, when we're busy, probably 3, 4 different evening meals that we have. Would you say that's fair? Apart from if we go out for dinner. That is what we would have. So therefore, I know roughly like what I'm eating every week. So if I needed to lose weight, I would just manipulate my portion sizes a little bit. For example, at breakfast, what do you have? Say you have, I don't know, Special K cereal, or say you have some shredded wheat, whatever. You have some cereal. Do you know how much cereal you have? Just as one day for an experiment, put the cereal in a bowl and then actually weigh it. Okay, that's how much cereal I have. Okay, now reduce that by 20%. This is if you're on a fat loss journey, by the way. This isn't for everybody. This is if you're on a fat loss journey and you know where you are. Okay, I'm going to reduce that portion size by 20%. What do you normally have for lunch? Right, I normally have give me a lunch, Will.
Tuna sandwich.
With?
Mango.
Right, okay. Well, that's not a very good example. Will said a tuna sandwich with mango. I was going to say if that was a tuna sandwich with a Kit Kat, or with a chocolate bar, or with a cereal bar, could you swap it to the mango? Something like that. Could you make some simple swaps where you're not really changing much? Or your tuna sandwich, what kind of tuna sandwich is it? Can you go for the more quote-unquote healthy version off the shelf, for example? Or could you make your own? Could you make your own and then be looking at it? So it's all about these tiny little tweaks. You don't need to change much. You don't need to drastically massively overhaul what you're doing. You just need to make these tiny little tweaks. And to start off with, it might be 2 a day. But that's what you need to be manipulating the portion sizes ever so slightly. I'm not talking about making yourself starving. I'm talking about reducing portion sizes by 20%. You do that for 3 weeks, you should see a difference. And if you don't see a difference, we go back to the drawing board and we think, okay, let's reduce it by another 20%. If you are going out at the weekend, or even during the day, my best advice, and this is if you're on a fat loss journey again, would be to have that one thing. So for example, if you like having a pudding, have that pudding. But you then don't need to have the starter and the side and the wine. You choose one. If you're going to have a takeout on Friday evening, then have that one that day. If you are going to go for a takeout on Saturday, then you don't, if you're going to go out for lunch, make sensible choices. You don't need to have the pudding after the takeout. Are you having the wine with that? Or could you, be sensible with your takeout choices and then have the wine? It's all about making these small tweaks. But I would say have the one thing, because that's quite easy to remember. Sunday, if you're going out for a fry-up, then have the fry-up and eat sensibly for the rest of the day. Then have a sensible lunch, have a salad at lunch. At dinner, have a light dinner. Have some fruit as snacks, or yogurt as snacks. That's what you want to do, having the one thing. And then you'll get more of an idea of where you're actually at and having more consistency. But 70% of the time, have foods that your body needs, that your body really needs to thrive. 30% of the time, a bit of what you want. I know here it says, what about 1 glass of wine every day? I wouldn't recommend having 1 glass of wine every single day. And I don't know if that would be, what that ratio would be like. It depends what else you're having for the rest of the day. And I think this is why it's very, very difficult to be like, this is exactly what it looks like, calculate this, because it becomes a bit like obsessional. And we don't want to be doing that. We want to be saying overall, we want to be nourishing the body, and 30% of the time having a little bit of what we want. And yeah, that might look like a takeout of the weekend. But then for the rest of the day, let's think about really nourishing our body. If we want a little like pudding on a Tuesday night, great. But what did we have earlier on in the day as well? Oh, I had the chocolate bar and then I came home and I smashed the biscuits. All right, do we need that pudding then? No. Let's have that tomorrow. So it's just about being really sensible with it. Get some consistency in your diet and definitely have a look at the nutrition area. I really hope that helps, by the way. And just keep ticking off the boxes. Just keep on ticking off the boxes. You don't need... Losing weight does not need to be horrendous or an awful experience. It can be really fun having healthy food, and you can also have a bit of what you want. You don't need to deprive yourself, because when we do, like when you either make yourself absolutely starving or you deprive yourself of the things that you want, you just can't stick at it. And it doesn't need to be like that. It doesn't need to be horrendous. It doesn't need to be awful. Just carry on living your life, being healthy, nourishing your body, and just being sensible with it. And then when it comes to like maintaining your weight, so when you hit the healthy weight and you want to maintain, then we just up the portion sizes slightly, but you don't need to do anything different. That's it. For the live exercise, I'd like a quick functional warm down, 3-5 minutes that I can do after the live classes. I found 9-minute full body stretch on the bolt-on area, but I need a quicker one. I find that I'm achy after not doing a stretch afterwards. And I've always done one in classes that I've attended a long time ago. Right, well, this is a very old school way of thinking. So when I first did my training to be a group exercise instructor, you had it's called an aerobic curve. So you did your warm up, and then you had, the peak of the workout, and then you brought yourself down, and then everyone did a stretch at the end, like static stretches. It's not actually a thing. The nice thing about doing a stretch at the end of class is you can kind of reflect on the class, and it's like a little shared moment of the class all together. And it can feel nice in the body. But does it help with the achiness after workouts? No, it doesn't. That's delayed onset muscle soreness. So when I had my piece of paper and I was ripping it up and saying when you work out, it's a stress on the body and you create little micro tears in your muscles, and that's essentially what's happening. By stretching, it doesn't it doesn't build your body back together. It doesn't pin the muscles back together, knit them back together. It doesn't. That is having rest, protein, water, and enough sleep that does that. So what you're experiencing here is if you feel achy after class and the next day, it's delayed onset muscle soreness, which is also called DOMS. So what I would say is rest, or rest that area of your body. So if you feel like you've got DOMS in the lower part of your body, so your legs feel like really achy, then if you're going to do anything the next day, do an upper body workout, or just do something completely different, do Pilates or a yoga. The most important thing with your stretching is that you're doing it throughout the week. Your stretching and mobility, you're doing it throughout the week. And if that, the only time you do it is after a workout, great, we'll just hop onto a short yoga or something like that. There are other short stretches on demand. There's loads. So I'm surprised you've only found the 9-minute one. There's loads. Have a look on, go on the stretch area. There's a whole stretch area on demand. If you go into holistic and then click stretches, there's loads in there. But it doesn't need to be any formal kind of thing. So just think about what you've been doing. If you've been doing stronger, that's an all-round body strength workout. You want to be stretching out the whole body, but you don't have to do that immediately after. You can do if you want to, but you could just do like a full body yoga the next day if you wanted as well. But if you like doing that after a workout, then totally fine. That's absolutely fine. It can be a nice way to bring the heart rate down, etc. But it's not obligatory, and you don't have to do it right there and then. It's just kind of like an old school way of thinking, but yeah, research now says that it doesn't actually matter. And when you think about it from a scientific perspective as well, and the stress that you put on your body just by doing a 3-minute stretch afterwards, it's not going to repair the body at all. So all it does is it just feels a bit nice. So if it feels nice for you and you want to do like a cool down stretch, head to stretch, and we can absolutely put some more short ones in there as well. But definitely do that. Or if you type in things like leg, for example, you'll get leg stretches come up and upper body stretches come up. So you can do that as well. And there's some short ones in there. So seeing where you kind of want to release it all off. But just make sure on a regular basis that you're doing some yoga throughout the week, or yoga or yoga escape throughout the week, 2 or 3 times a week. And that will basically tick that box to help you mobilize your body. Aside from that, make sure you're getting enough rest so your body can repair, you're eating enough protein, and you're getting enough sleep and having enough water, and that will sort that out completely. 2 more questions. How do I get rid of menopause belly pouch? Okay, so this is referring to when we go through the menopause, we have a dip in estrogen. And as a woman, what happens is, rather than holding our body in more of a pear shape, so generally women tend to hold more body fat around their butts and their legs generally, our body prefers to hold body fat around the stomach. And it's just because of this dip in estrogen. So when we have excess body fat, that's where it holds it now. It holds it around the tummy. So it creates this kind of menopause pouch, if you like. Now, it's not something that you have to accept, and it's not something that has to be there. It's just where the body prefers to store its fat. And by the way, fat is just energy. It's just excess stored energy. That's all it is. You are not fat. It is just energy. So think of it as energy. What you want to do here is it's all lifestyle factors. So If you find that you have if you've got a bit of a menopause belly, for example, you want to put yourself in a bit of a calorie deficit. So we want to be losing weight, and the menopause belly, the tummy, it might be the last place that it comes off, but it will come off. You want to make sure that you're having enough protein. You want to make sure that you're having enough fibrous carbohydrates. And also, what can contribute to this is bloating in the menopause. So our body tends to digest food a little bit slower and doesn't process some foods as well as it used to. So you can have quite a lot of bloating and a lot of gas, which also then contributes to this. Obviously, that's a little bit different because it's gas as opposed to like excess energy, so fat. But it can contribute to this feeling. So just make sure that you're looking at your diet. You might want to keep a bit of a food diary and see like your food triggers and how you feel the next day. Do you feel bloated the next day? Do you feel gassy the next day? Write down what you're having. Are you eating your food in front of a screen or in front of your phone? Can you really slow down and make sure you're chewing your food properly? So that will help with all the bloating side of things. Make sure you're having enough fiber, enough water. The protein side of things is going to help maintain your lean muscle mass. So when we go through the menopause, we have an exponential loss in muscle mass thanks to the decline in estrogen. So one way to combat this, or two ways, is to make sure you are strength training minimally twice a week. That's absolute bare minimum. So doing stronger, for example, minimum twice a week, minimum. And making sure you're having enough protein. And that will keep your metabolism, your BMR, at a decent level, and it will also make sure that you are looking after your body in terms of your muscle tone and your strength and your bone density. So this is something that we want to be doing, and this will also help with the menopause belly as well. Make sure you are managing your stress. So cortisol potentially encourages holding fat around the tummy as well. Will's playing video.
That was MJ.
Will's just scheduling the workouts. So think about your stress levels. It's all these different things, and I know this is a lot of information to throw at you right now, but what's really important is keeping a track. And do you know what, actually, Menopause Awareness Month is coming up very shortly, so October. If anyone is interested, I can run a menopause course, or I can do a menopause workshop. Just let me know. Let me know if that would help you. We can talk all about this a little bit more. But there are a few things to be doing right now. So look at your training. Are you doing strength training minimum twice a week? Are you doing something like HIIT once a week? HIIT or squat once a week? Are you managing your stress? So are you doing yoga, Pilates? Are you having enough water? Are you having enough protein? Head to the nutrition area, make sure you have enough protein. Are you keeping track of things that keep you bloated? Are you in a bit of a calorie deficit right now? Are you looking to lose weight right now? Like I said, that would be how to do it, but you want to do it in a sustainable way. If we lose weight too quickly, we can lose muscle mass, and too much muscle mass, which isn't going to help things. So we want to be making sure we're doing this steadily so you can maintain as much lean muscle mass as possible. Anyway, I really hope that's useful, and let me know if you do want me to do like anything extra on this, and I can look into it, and we can do it. Finally, what exercises can I do when I'm doing jobs like the washing up? For example, holding your belly in can be advantageous to working your abs? ? Oh, you can absolutely do that. You can practice your lateral breathing, which is something we do in Pilates. So thinking of inhaling into the back and sides of the ribs, exhaling through the mouth and drawing the navel in towards the spine and engaging your deep core muscles. That's absolutely something you could be doing. You could do squats, you could do some calf raises, you could do all sorts. I think when you're doing jobs and things like washing up, it's great to be thinking about these things, definitely. But I would say never obviously replace that with your workouts. And it's not something that is absolutely necessary. Things like when you're doing the jobs around the house, when you're doing your washing up, thinking about holding yourself properly is a really good thing to do. So you could incorporate your breath work, and that can help with getting into really good routines with your breath work, and also engaging the core. But be thinking about how you're holding your posture as well when you go around the house and you're doing different jobs and things. But the most important thing is to make sure you're getting your workouts in there. But of course you can sneak in little things like that. So calf raises, you could do some wall sits. That'll be a bit hard when you're doing the washing up though. Maybe when you're drying you could do a wall sit. It's not something that I personally do. One thing that you could do is you could be balancing on one leg. That's good for practicing your balance. Same when you brush your teeth. That's a really good one. Or you can do a bit of a tightrope stand when you have one foot in front of the other, and that can be really good for practicing your balance as well. So yeah, there's a couple of little things you could do. Anyway, team, I hope that's been useful. I need to get ready now because I've got to vacate the room in 10 minutes and I need a shower after my post-hotel gym fail. Anyway, I will see you soon. Have a lovely, lovely week, and I'll be keeping an eye on everybody. Have a great time in class this week. The class timetable looks absolutely awesome this week, so I hope you love it, and I will see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.